This is the 21st event in Kulana's online speaker series that began when the pandemic began in April a couple of years ago. And we used to occasionally have parlor meetings in my home or other people's homes or meetings in synagogues. But this has been an amazing way to bring together people around the world to be together and get to know some of the work we do. Molly, will you show the slide of the sponsors? So we want to thank our sponsors for today's event, Ruth Errol Carr, Richard Marcus, and Rabbi Gerald and Bonnie Sussman. Thank you for your support. So now I'd like to introduce Bonita Nathan Sussman, Kulana's first vice president, who will serve as moderator and will conduct the Q&A after our speaker. Bonita is a volunteer with Kulana for many, many years and serves as the first vice president. She's a graduate of Yeshiva University Stern College, has a master's degree from Columbia University and the Jewish Theological Seminary. She's on the editorial staff of Kulana magazine, and she's our Kulana board liaison for the Kulana academic cohort, a group of scholars who work with us and whom she helped organize, and coordinator of our work with new communities. The photos and videos of her travels have been published and exhibited. Bonnie, take it from here.
Thank you, Harriet. And I'm very excited about this program because the experience in Madagascar was really unbelievable. We're going to show you a video that was professionally done that tells the story that Shep was about to talk about and tells the story of the Madagascar Jewish community. Then we will hear from the prince. This morning we were having a little audio problems with that, so we're going to work around it as best as we can. So Molly, would you like to show the video?
In 2013, Kulana was contacted by a leader of a newly emerging Jewish community in Madagascar, requesting educational assistance in its development.
I was searching and seeking, and I have tried many religions, and I was never satisfied. And finally, have seen that Judaism is the ideal religion.
Yes, I am very excited for Kulana because they are going to convert me, and that is my dream.
In 2016, Kulana sent a delegation of 4 rabbis and assorted guests to answer their call.
Hello. I'm going to video you now. You don't know? Vous parlez français? Qu'est-ce qu'ils ont tout raté, mes frères?
want you to know that this work that we are doing here and this joy is part of a much bigger movement that's happening all over the world. Uganda, Zimbabwe, partout, all over Latin America, Brazil.
Les énergies de Dieu doivent couvrir les communautés avec, how do you say love?
Koli karatika waneni altaster fanehicha mimeni wo mimeni.
From my historical studies, I know that Judaism was a religion that actually welcomed people into its fold much longer than it has been a religion that basically tries to protect itself by restricting the inflow of converts. Now the floodgates are opening. There is no way to close them.
Avishana Netam Livanecha Vedivareta Bam Avishivtecha.
טוב מאוד, מצוין. Yeah, very good.
תודה רבה.
Okay, that's what we say. Okay, now.
Hashem has given to be converted to Jews.
Hashem loves him anyway.
In my household, I'm first.
I want to go back. Before all that, before Sefer, before the books, before Tuvia, what was he practicing?
Hashem loves every human being who's good. One doesn't have to be Jewish to be loved by God. Okay. Let's go back a little bit. Do you believe that that Jesus was the Son of God?
Avant, quand j'en dans l'Adventiste, on pense que Fils de Dieu, mais en mon...
So she's saying he was a failed Messiah. Okay.
Explain it to her. She would like to go through this so that she can learn.
Do you freely accept all the obligations of the mitzvot of the Torah?
I accept the mitzvot and the obligations of the law and the Torah of Moshe.
Oui. Et tu veux être juif? Oui. Et tu veux faire ce que la Torah te demande? Oui. Oh, ok.
According to me, a Jew is getting back to Hashem, the creator of the universe, and we have to learn more, to find more, so that we could contribute for a better world.
So I have two certificates, one for, Atafadam and one for mikvah.
That's right.
Anything else should I get a certificate for?
Right, that you're the best mikvah lady I ever met.
hold on. Kosher. Kosher. Mazel tov. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov.
Très joli. Ok. Élastique.
Adonai Mikadesh Amo Yisrael Ayle Chupa V'Kiddushin.
Baruch Atu Avigoy Mekadesh Amo Yisrael Al Yedei Chupa V'Kiddushin. Three, two, one.
The story of Madagascar is Jewish history in the making. It is a trend we see happening all over the world. Join us in this historical movement as we expand Jewish communities around the globe.
Okay. I'm sure that this was something new for everyone here. I think it was magnificently done, and it was so appropriate that the last frame is of our special guest, the Prince of Madagascar. His name is Prince Ndriana, Rabarioelina. I think I pronounced that correctly. And he is in the elder branch of the royal family, head of the Royal House of Madagascar. He has a PhD in theology, biblical relations between Israel and Madagascar from 2010. He has a THD in theology, Madagascar in the last vestiges of the birthplace of humanity. He, in terms of management, École Supérieure de Commerce de Paris. He's a specialist in gemstones of Madagascar. He's conductor of classical orchestra, an international philharmonic orchestra with 20 international musicians and 600 chorists. He meets with more than 100 kings and princes, chiefs of state, and prime ministers in many countries in the world. He is the president founder of the Royal Academy of Sciences of Madagascar, the Grand Cross of the Royal Order of Madagascar, the Grand Cross of the Royal Order of the Banyaro Kitara Kingdom, Uganda. Now we will hear from Prince Driana speak. We hope that this video comes out and the voice comes out clearly. Thank you, Prince. It is our honor to have you with us today. And actually, this is the first time I am speaking to a prince directly, and it's a humbling experience. So would you like to give us your presentation if we hear you, and then we have plan B in case we don't.
I prefer if you can read my presentation.
Sure, we can wait.
On the paper?
Oh, Molly, you want Molly to show the script? Molly, do you want to share the screen of the script? Prince, is that what you're asking for?
Please, can you wait?
Sure, we can wait.
The papers?
You want us to wait? Well, in the meantime, while we're waiting, does anyone have any comments about the video?
I believe he wants us to read it, Bonnie.
He wants us to, so let's show the video of him talking first then.
Please, could someone read the papers, please?
I don't know.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
We will read. We will read the paper after we show a little bit of the video of you speaking, and then we will read the translation in English.
Okay. So this recording, I actually made. We had a conference at the end of our trip to Madagascar where the prince spoke, and I recorded it. And this is my YouTube recording of the prince speaking of his Israelite roots, of which we have the scripted text, which we will read to you in case the video and this doesn't work very well. Molly, can you put up the video a little while we are waiting?
Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. One of the Levites' descendants. I'm also one of the descendants of Aaron, the priest. The priest. There were three ways that the Israelites took to come here in Madagascar.
Lalana voalohany avy any Israel dia nakany nandalo tany Egypta.
The first way is from Israel to Egypt,
Dia nandalo any Etiopia.
and they passes by Ethiopia,
Dia nandalo Kenya, dia Komoro, dia Madagascar.
and then they passed Kenya, Comoros, and last in Madagascar.
Rehefa tamin'ny andron'ny zanak'Israely efajato taona tany Egypta, dia efa nisy fifandraisana tamin'ny zanak'Israely sy Madagascar.
When the Israelites were slaves there in Egypt, they started to communicate from people here in Madagascar to people from Madagascar.
Ny hazo nanamboarana ny piramida tany Egypta dia misy avy etỳ Madagascar.
The wood that people used to build the pyramids some of them come from Madagascar, some of the woods.
Lalana faharoa indray dia manitsy miainga avy any Israely tamin'ny port'ny John Geber dia nandalo ny ranomasina mena dia Ocean Indiana dia tonga teto Madagascar.
The second way is from Israelites to the Red Sea and passing from the Indian Ocean and come in Madagascar.
Ny lalana fahatelo dia nakany Israel, dia nakany Babylone, dia nakany Inde.
The third way was from Israel to Babylon, India,
Dia avy eo nakany
Malaysia, Indonesia,
dia nakaty Madagascar.
and then here in Madagascar.
Raha ny fikarohana hitako dia mihoatra ny folo ny Ndriana migration avy any Israel nakaty Madagascar, folo mahery.
Okay, so from my research, there were more than 10 migration coming here in Madagascar.
Ny razambenay zany ny razambe Malagasy nakany nakaty dia Jews Israel.
Our ancestors were both Jewish, mother and fathers.
Tena Jews biologique.
So they are Jewish biologically.
Ny any Israel amin'izao fotoana dia hoe Jews rehefa Jews ny reniny.
Nowadays in Israel, we can call people Jewish when their mother is Jewish.
Fa ny anay nataonay hoe Jews dia rehefa Jews ny ray Israely ny zanak'Israely roa ambin'ny folo.
But for us, we can call someone Jewish if the mother and the father are both Jewish.
Eto Madagascar zany no ahitana ny fomba fiteny Jews tranainy fomba fiteny hebreo tranainy rehefa amin'izao tontolo izao.
We can find here in Madagascar the old Hebrew, the word Hebrews.
Zany hoe efa mihoatra ny efajato sy telo arivo taona no natongava ny razambe teto Madagascar.
Okay, so we found that the Hebrew people came 3,400 years ago.
Eto Madagascar no ahitana fomba fiteny hebreo tranainy indrindra amin'izao tontolo izao.
We can find the oldest Hebrew words all over the world. We can just find it here in Madagascar.
Zay eto Madagascar dia manao lovatsy mivitra.
We people from Madagascar do that.
Le strict endogamy.
Strict endogamy, which is from fathers to son, from son to grandson.
Ohatra, amin'ny anarana amin'ny teny hebreo faranzitrana indrindra.
One example of oldest Hebrew words.
Salama.
Salama, which is a Malagasy word.
Io fomba fiteny hoe salama io ny trana indrindra fa ny saloma taty aoriana.
The word salama is older than the word shalom.
Manaraka zany dia misy tsy lasaka ny 20 ny olona mpanoratra mikasika ny zanak'Israely roa ambin'ny folo ny Jews eto Madagascar.
Not less than 20 people here in Madagascar, they wrote books talking about the Israelites, the 12 brothers.
12 tribes?
12, yeah, the 12
12
tribes.
Les
of
12 tribus.
How is everybody hearing that? Was anybody hearing that? And Prince, are you ready to speak?
It would be helpful to me to have you read it because I had trouble hearing. So if you could go back to the beginning.
The only problem I have is that it's very long. And maybe I should, some of it people did catch, especially the last part that the word salam is means shalom, and that he told about his traveling from how people got to Madagascar, and that he's a descendant of the high priest. Somebody wrote very clear, no problem with hearing the prince. Okay, so some people were hearing this very well. Should we, I don't know the answer here. Should we continue? Is the prince, are you ready to speak it?
He asked for someone else to read it.
Oh, I'm not sure if that's here. I will read it if you want me to read it, but, or do people want to hear the rest of the, or do you want to watch the rest of the video? Will somebody answer? Put it in the chat. Oh, someone's raising their hand. Okay, I'm looking for my messages here. Can someone just highlight the important parts? It would be great to hear directly from the prince. Okay, we're trying to get the prince to talk here so that you could hear directly. Where I don't see the prince, is he still online? Oh, yes. There he is. Good. Prince, would you like to talk and tell us? Okay, good.
Okay. I can speak now?
Yes.
Yes. Shalom to everybody. I am Ndriana Rabarioel in Hebrew, Edri Rabarel. It does mean the strong, the son of the Lord, the Creator, or the chosen son of the Lord, the Creator of the universe, the Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are among the 12 tribes of Israel, especially from the family, the house of Levi, from the family of Aaron, the high priest. Do you hear me?
Yes.
And you see my shawl, red and black and white shawl. It is the traditional shawl of the house of Levi, especially from the house of Aaron Cohen Hagadol. And we here in Madagascar, we have safeguarded the oldest Hebrew language. Many old Jewish speech, many Jewish customs, use and customs. And I will see here to you some things. It is the only and one unique of a model of the holy garments of Aaron Cohen Agadol, which is here in Madagascar. Okay, which is here in Madagascar. Our Jewish ancestors came here from Israel to Madagascar, and they lived here for 3,400 years, and they took precious things, tools from the first temple of Jerusalem before the arrival of army of Nebuchadnezzar, and they took all these precious treasures from the first temple of Jerusalem, and they brought them here to Madagascar. And we have here in Madagascar some parts of the Ten Commandments, a knife of King David, some old Hebrew manuscripts, and many treasures from the first temple of Jerusalem. I would like to share that our ancestors have three functions. The first function is the royal function. It does mean we have the royal family of Madagascar, and the second function is the sacerdotal function, because we have a descendant of Aaron Cohen Agadol, and the third function is a prophetic function. We know in advance all many things who will happen. And for example, many years ago, I have a vision, a prophetic vision, that one day I will meet the representatives of Kulanu of us, and it is realized, achieved now in the present times. Okay. And the process now in the present time is the prophetic of the Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and chapter 37. One day, all the Jewish people in the world and the 12 tribes of Israel in the world will be gathered. And all we around the world is the process of gathering of 12 Israel in the world by the Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Holy One of Israel, the Almighty Lord. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If someone wants to put some question,
yes.
If someone can translate in French language, and I can answer in the English language.
Okay, thank you so much. That was just terrific. So can you tell us more about the linguistic connections to Hebrew?
Okay.
Someone here named Judith volunteered to translate.
No, I think he understood.
The root of Malagasy language is the old Hebrew language. Almost all the name of people in Madagascar, around 80% of the names of people in Madagascar have Hebrew roots. The name of mountains, the name of river, the name and valley in Madagascar have Hebrew roots. For example, the name Madagascar, Madagascar is a Hebrew word. The name Malagasy, Malagasy people, Malagas is also a Hebrew name. The name Antananarivo also he has a Hebrew roots. Almost 80% of Malagasy language have Hebrew roots.
Thank you. Can you tell us something about the archaeology?
Yes. You can find here in Madagascar Paleo Hebrew writing on some rocks. For example, in the north of Madagascar, in the south of highlands of Madagascar, we can find old Paleo Hebrew writings with 100 meters in length and 1 meter in height. And we can also find, I have said here, we can find in the southeast of Madagascar a part of 10 commandments of Moshe, or Musa in the Malagasy language. We can find in the southeast of Madagascar a part of the road of Moshe when he traveled across the Red Sea. We can find here in Madagascar a knife of King David, some Paleo-Hebrew manuscripts here in Madagascar. And in the northeast of Madagascar, near the town of Marwantseta, the Maros of Shet, we can find 5 drawing of the Star of David engraved on some rocks. And the professor of philosophy, Mr. Rabarioelina, came to this place with 40 students in the year 1980s, and he has discovered the drawing of 5 stars of David in the deep forest of northeast of Madagascar. And at this moment, they are all heard the national anthem of Israel. it is amazing.
Okay, could you tell us something about Princess of the Sakalava tribe in the northwest of Madagascar with a big necklace?
Yes, a princess from the Sakalava tribe called Gold. And his tribe, Sakalava, came from the Hebrew word Saka, Isaka, Itzaka, Isaac. And they came from, their ancestor came from Israel to Egypt, and after Ethiopia, and after Kenya, then to Comoros Island, and then in the northeast of Madagascar, where the ancestor of this princess arrived to Madagascar. And all the traditional kings in Madagascar have the drawing of a star of David in their royal house. All the traditional kings in Madagascar. We have around 25 tribes in all Madagascar, and
We stopped hearing. We stopped hearing you. Hello? It froze.
from generation to generation for 3,000 years.
Okay, would you like to tell us about the, I know you're a gemstone expert. Can you tell us about the gemstones in the Urim V'Tumim, the high priest's breastplate, the ones made of onyx? Did we lose this? The onyx in the breastplate. Can you hear? I think we lost.
Yes, we seem to have lost audio on both of his connections at the moment.
Okay, so
there are three people. There are a few people with their hands raised.
Okay, let's go ask questions and let's see if we can answer them. Who are the questions?
So the first one I have on the top of my screen is Yehudia Kalahani.
Oh, hi, Yehuda. He's from Tanzania.
Yes, so I'm unmuting him. He should be able to speak if he hits unmute on his end.
These Zooms are really an international.
Oh, now we can hear the prince again.
Hello?
Hello. Hi.
There we go.
Hi. Hi, Bernice and Molly. How are you?
Good. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you.
What's your question?
Okay, thank you. My question is, thank you for the prince. We know that my great grandfather was named Halawi, and every 10 generation the Halawi return always. But according to my grandfather, the Levi, they used blue like tehilet, like the tehilet, their garments, like what the Berber or the Tuareg in North Africa use. Their clothing is mostly the Levi. So I don't know whether the garment that the prince show is the garment of Aaron, is office of the Kohen, or the color of the Levi. Thank you.
Okay. I think in his tradition, he is a descendant from the high priest, so he's a Levi. Okay, that's okay. A Kohen is also a Levi, actually, right? Prince, are you back? Okay, so what other questions are there? Prince, we see you, but we don't. Oh, now we see you moving. Hello, are you there? Okay, let's take another question.
We have another question from Susan.
What does Susan say?
She should be able to unmute now.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. First of all, Prince, we're honored by your presence and that you're speaking to us. Thank you so much. I have two questions, please. One is the Lemba of Zimbabwe have traced themselves back, or some members of their community have traced themselves back through DNA and have pretty well proven that they are descended from Kohanim. Have members of your community traced themselves back through DNA to fairly conclusively prove that they're descendants of Aharon? My second question is, before the conversion class, what was the impetus for beginning the conversion class and returning to Judaism? Thank you.
Okay, so the prince, I want to make it clear, the prince was not part of the conversion process. Okay, the prince still a Christian who believes that he is a descendant of the Israelites, primarily the Kohen, the tribe of Levi. The question about the conversion should kind of go to me. He spoke at a conference that took place at that time, but was not part of the conversion process. And the whole issue of genetics around proving Jewish identity is a complicated question, as the Ethiopians do not have not tested for Jewish genetic material. So some of the issues around genetics is not always the appropriate question. I don't know if the prince has something to say about that.
Yes. Do you know Madagascar was in the center of a supercontinent called Gondwana? And Madagascar, Ethiopia, and Mesopotamia were joined together in the past. Madagascar is among the last vestiges of the birthplace of humanity with east of Africa. We are here in Madagascar, the most quantities and qualities of gemstones in the world. We have here in Madagascar more than 70 species of gemstones and fine stones. We are first countries in the world which have the most qualities and quantities of gemstones in the world. And about the gemstones of Aaron, the high priest, the Jewish people have taken the gemstones, the 12 gemstones of the holy garments of Aaron Hakadol here from Madagascar. About the genetic research, I have compared the genetics of the Malagasy people, the Hebrew people in Ethiopia, the Hebrew people in Zimbabwe, and some tribes in Mesopotamia. And I have discovered some similarities on Zimbabwe, some Jewish people, Hebrew people here.
I'm going to wrap this up. That's it. I think we stopped hearing you, Prince. I think we're just at the hour mark. We can't hear you. Prince, we can't hear you.
Bonnie, shall I go ahead?
No, what I think is we should begin to wrap up, and I'd like to present the Prince with a certificate.
Okay, so why don't we do that now, and then I want to move to breakout rooms.
Okay. Yes. Prince, maybe we should share the screen, Molly. So
she's already done that.
No, I mean me and him, and I'll hold this. Okay, so this is a Kulanu Certificate of Appreciation. We proudly present to Prince Ndriana Rabarioelina for his friendship with Jews around the world and Israel. February 24th, 2022. And we are so grateful for the amount of time he put into coordinating this with us. And it was just our honor to have him with us today. despite the sound difficulties and the tech difficulties, you need to realize this is Madagascar. We're really far away. And it's amazing all together. Oh, the prince is giving us the priestly blessings. Thank you. So here is, we will send you the certificate of our appreciation. I think Harriet has a plan to break us into groups so that we can talk to each other for a few minutes. And Prince, if you would like to stay online after we get together again.
Okay, so before we say goodbye, I want to thank you personally to those of you who have been supporting Kulanu over the years. Your donations and volunteer help have meant so much to all of our Kulanu communities. In these challenging times, when we can't be sure what turns the economy will take, your support is needed now more than ever. Our communities have immediate needs, some of them are emergency in nature. And we want to say that each of you, whether you can donate $18 or $10,000 or $20,000 or anything in between, it means so much when you reach into your pocket and do what you can to support this work of Kulanu, both our work in sharing the stories of these communities around the world and our work in assisting the communities in accomplishing the goals that they have for themselves. If you need to leave now, thanks for joining us. But if you can stay, we'll now be breaking into smaller breakout rooms to visit with each other, either to discuss today's presentation or to discuss how you've been involved with Kulanu or what attracted you if you're new and what appeals to you about our work.